Every story appears ordinary till you see the core side of it.
And what you're looking for is the story behind the news.
We bring it to you from Lagos, the commercial capital of Nigeria.
Giving you all sides and political stories round the clock.
Every detail from the start line to the final whistle.
CoreTV News, expanding your view.
Hello, thank you for joining us on CoreTV News Hour. I am Frank Omalapeh in a major story. The federal government has now identified banks, financial institutions and countries in which payments for stolen Nigerian crude oil have been deposited. Also in this program, outpour of emotions by patients at the Federal Medical Center Idiaba in Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital, as doctors join their colleagues on an indefinite nationwide strike. And the federal government decries the poor rate of exclusive breastfeeding in the country as Nigeria joins the rest of the world to celebrate the 2015 World Breastfeeding Week. And outside Nigeria now, scores died in Netherlands crane collapse. Now, thank you for joining us tonight. We'll begin with the story of the federal government, which has now identified banks, financial institutions, and countries in which payments for stolen Nigerian crude oil have been deposited. President Muhammadu Buhari disclosed this on Monday in Abuja when he received United States congressmen. In a statement by his special assistant on media and publicity, Femi Adesina, the president said this latest move by his administration is part of efforts to recover looted Nigerian funds, while acknowledging the support and cooperation his administration was getting from the international community in gathering required intelligence for tracing and recovering stolen national resources. President Buhari told the congressmen led by Representative Darrell Issa that his administration will welcome more regular meetings of the Nigeria-United States Bi-National Commission. According to him, the commission could serve as a more useful platform for the promotion of bilateral trade and economic relations, as well as joint cooperation in the war against terrorism. In his response, Congressman Darrell assured the president that the United States will support Nigeria against Boko Haram by providing training, intelligence, and military platforms. And now President Muhammadu Buhari has directed the National Planning Commission to fund projects based on priority and those that will directly affect the life of Nigerians. He handed down the directive at the presidential villa after receiving briefings from the Commission's permanent secretary at the presidential villa. A permanent secretary told State House correspondent that the president wants to use the commission to reduce unemployment in the country in line with Vision 2020.
Was positive, and he has specifically directed, because of the dwindling resources, that we have to take a second look at capital projects and their funding. Rather than spread capital funding widely, that will not impact on anything. We should look at the core priority areas, select those, and fund them effectively to the end, and then take on another set of priorities and do likewise.
There has been an outpour of emotion as doctors at the Federal Medical Center Idiaba in Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital, joined their colleagues all over the nation on an indefinite strike on Monday, 3rd of August. The feeling can be best described as moving, as Kayode Akindele, whose relative was until Monday morning on admission at the FMC Abeokuta, spoke with CoreTV News. Akindele reported that patience and oxygen and those unable to talk, or even many who could not work, were asked to go home. The wards were gradually deserted as helpless patients attempt to seek alternative accesses to medical attention. The relatives were also seen queuing up for either a refund or to clear outstanding payments.
Patients on oxygen, we are asked to go home. People who are they're not doing fine at all. They could not see, they need doctors or emergency treatment. All of them have to go home because the doctors we are on indefinite strike as I speak to you today. We'll start today. Operations scheduled for today, tomorrow, which require emergency. They have to go home indefinitely. The doctor said it practically that quote me anywhere, I mean the doctor so you are hereby discharged, go home. So they just have to remove the oxygen whatsoever, and they are on their own. People they are not finding it easy, they are not finding it funny. They are not protesting actually, but the government should find the solution, rapid solution to this.
Now, the National University Commission is convinced that Nigeria's graduates can compete with some of the best in the world. NUC Executive Secretary Professor Julius Okoje told newsmen on the sidelines of a workshop on Africa's Center for Excellence in Abuja that the universities need to be rebranded for their standard to be obvious. He maintained that there is no reason why Nigerian students should seek university education in neighboring African countries.
We have to rebrand our Nigerian university system. They are good. You know what happened recently? Dr. Kumo just came back from a trip in Côte d'Ivoire. 53 universities in Ghana, they listed. They are what I call it fake institutions. Even the one we're talking about, Côte d'Ivoire and other places, they are all fake institutions, except the government-owned ones. So very soon we'll give you the list of illegal universities in other countries. We have reached out because the saying was that a Nigerian university are good, that's why children are going to Ghana. It's not true. You have discovered that now. Didn't you go to Ghana yourself? So why are we running down our system? You must rebrand our system. Our own is good. It can be better, but our own is very good. And I say the university system is good. Challenge, 25% of our university students, they compete with any part of the world.
We need a lot of data to bring more accountability. And then the second one is that you need to have a target. It's okay, you said I should give you more money. You say you will achieve this. When are you going to achieve it? 2 years. It's okay. Am I going to wait 2 years to give you $2 million? No. After 6 months, what are the milestones that I can know you are moving towards the achieved result? Does it mean I will remove the money? No. What I will do is that we talk again and we revise our framework and the targets we want to achieve.
And as Nigerians join other countries to celebrate the 2015 World Breastfeeding Week, the federal government has decried the poor rate of exclusive breastfeeding in the country. Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Health, Linus Awuti, said at an event marking the flag-off of the occasion that Nigeria has one of the poorest exclusive breastfeeding rates in Africa. Awuti who was represented by Director in the Ministry, Bridget Okogwa, also said this.
To mark the flag-off of the 2015 World Breastfeeding Week celebration, as you all know, every year, Nigeria joins more than 117 countries of the world to celebrate the World Breastfeeding Week to promote exclusive breastfeeding from birth to when the child is 6 months old. Exclusive breastfeeding means when an infant receives only breast milk, no other liquid is given, not even water.
Now, WHO promotes breastfeeding according to the national guidelines, and WHO is involved in supporting, in providing generic materials which the government then adapts or adopts and promotes in times like this. And this week we are very pleased to be here to participate in this initial activity that promotes breastfeeding.
You're watching CoreTV Primetime News. We'll take a break now. Be back shortly. Join us again.
Some pundits believe that as long as the political system is driven by selected few, corruption may be difficult to fight.
You should be careful about what you say.
I am not the only politician. Even if I've wronged anyone, it is time to forgive me.
Political Arena every Sunday at 9:15 p.m. and a repeat broadcast every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m.
This is what the people are saying.
You don't run a big economy with generator. They need to do more in terms of energy and power.
Many things to do for this Nigeria about lights, water, and new TT.
For Nigerians that are not gullible, we know that good laws have done nothing good for this country.
Buhari won the election convincingly.
Talk to your husband that you should keep promise about what you said, and because people are watching you, you know, another election is coming.
Also, some people will strong for Yoruba land, will be strong man. We don't die.
This nation is moving forward. The best is going to take place.
The people giving voice to the voiceless.
This is CoreTV Primetime News live from our Lagos studios. If you just joined us, a quick reminder of our top stories. Now, President Muhammadu Buhari says his effort is in top gear to recover looted funds. Patients in Abeokuta lament poor state of health as doctors in the Federal Medical Center joined the colleague nationwide strike. And Nigeria joins the rest of the world to mark the Breastfeeding Week. Thank you for being there. All our top stories can be found on our social media platforms. Log on to facebook.com/CoreTV News. You can also follow at CoreTV News NG. For live streaming, log on to youtube.com/CoreTV, leave space, then news. And our report from Maiduguri indicates that Senate President Bukola Saraki was in the city early in the day to assess the condition at several internally displaced person camps. He also received a briefing from the military on the ongoing war against insurgency. Senate President Saraki arrived at town in a presidential jet just after midday, accompanied by some senators. The Senate President's visit to Maiduguri is as a result of a resolution by the Senate last week. The senators resolved that Saraki should lead a team of senators on an on-the-spot assessment of the situation in the IDP camps. And now the immediate past Commandant General of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps at Diabolori has officially bowed out of service. A polling out parade was held in his honor in Abuja, where he once again urged officers and men of the corps to uphold integrity, credibility and maintain zero tolerance to corruption. The parade, which is the first of its kind in the history of the NSCDC, had in attendance representatives from the police, armed forces, and the Federal Road Safety Corps, among others. A correspondent Basiaye has all the details of the ceremony.
Emotional scenes at the NSCDC as former Commandant General is taking his exit from office. This is the first time an event of this nature will be happening in the paramilitary agency. In attendance are senior military and police officers, former Minister of Interior, Abba Moro, and other dignitaries. They are part of the crowd that saw Abolurin review the parade for the last time.
Dr. Abolurin became a member of the Institute. Is instructed to a lot of articles that have...
In his last address to officers and men of the NSCDC, he reminded them of the core values he was leaving behind in the agency.
But please sustain the zero tolerance of corruption and maintain that slogan, collect bribe. And if the person cannot die enough, what do I say you should do? Pray for that person to die immediately. So collect bribe, compromise. So if somebody is kidnapped suddenly among you and you pray after an hour and we cannot see the person, just know that the person has compromised because it's not part of us. Will you be able to sustain this? Yes, sir. Will you maintain it? Yes, sir. Will anybody disturb you from maintaining it? No, sir. When you maintain this, you will get to the place of glory. Amen.
And when it was time for the pulling out parade proper, many could not hold back tears. As the former NSCDC chief bows out of office after 10 years, many Nigerians are convinced that his successor, Abdullahi Mohamadu, has inherited a highly motivated paramilitary agency. Basiaye, CoreTV News, Abuja.
The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission on Monday interrogated Director General of the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, Paul Ohi, for allegedly awarding contracts to himself. Ohi, who was quizzed at the Commission's headquarters in Abuja for about 8 hours, was alleged to have awarded contracts to some companies which acted as fronts for him. He is expected to report at the Commission's office on Tuesday. NAFDAC has, however, denied that Ohi was summoned and grilled over alleged acts of fraud. It said in a statement by its Director of Special Duties, Abubakar Jimo, on Monday that the DG voluntarily visited the EFCC to clear the air on a petition against him by a former chief and the Anti-Narcotic Agency. And now the Consumer Protection Council has begun an investigation into the operation of a multi-choice Nigeria, the owners of DSTV, based on complaint of alleged consumer rights violation against the paid television firm. The company was represented by the inaugural sitting of the panel by a 4-member team led by its regulatory affairs manager. The statement from the council indicates that CPC's Director General Dupe Atoke flagged off the investigations at the headquarters of the agency in Abuja. Some of the allegations tabled against the pay TV operator, including poor quality of service such as incessant disruption without compensation, abrupt disconnection of service during a subsistence subscription, monthly subscription lasting less than 30 days, and poor redress mechanism and customer services. The first sitting of the panel was witnessed by a delegation from the National Broadcasting Commission, NBC. And now the Lagos State Governor Akinwumi Ambode has approved the appointment of 19 new permanent secretaries in the state public service. In a statement issued on Monday by his Chief Press Secretary Habib Haruna, the appointments are in line with the governor's drive to restructure the civil service for efficient performance in service delivery. He says Governor Ambode is expected to swear in the new permanent secretaries at the Lagos House, Alausa, on Wednesday, August 5, 2015. This development, he says, is also coming on the heels of the streamlining of some existing ministries, departments and agencies aimed at ensuring greater efficiency. Meanwhile, 15 permanent secretaries have also been retired from the civil service accordingly. And now, Kaduna State Governor Nasir El-Rufai has advised occupants of illegal structures in the state to move out before Wednesday. This, according to him, is because there is no going back on his decision to demolish houses built on compounds and premises of secondary schools in all parts of the state. The governor maintained that people who fail to move out will end up losing their property in the course of the exercise. Correspondent Amina Anibi has details in this report from our studios.
He hit the limelight in Abuja mainly for demolishing illegal structures. Now,
he's set to take a similar step in Kaduna State. Governor Nasir El-Rufai made his intention to demolish houses built on compounds and premises of secondary schools clear at his second town hall meeting. He maintained that his administration would not condone acts of lawlessness.
The resources of the government of Kaduna State to be deployed for the benefit of the majority of the people for Kaduna State, not for the enjoyment of a few people. This is the guiding principle of our government. But we are human, we can make mistakes. So if you think we are doing anything wrong, please tell us. We are here to tell you what we are doing, what we plan to do, and to hear from you.
Federal lawmakers at the event see the demolition plan as a welcome development, which they say will bring a great development in the state.
It's very important for people to know that you cannot take law into your hand and go scot-free. If we allow this kind of thing to continue, only God knows, maybe one day the government house in Kaduna will be invaded by people from that locality coming to build around it.
Followership to be able to assess what the government has done so far, its conception, its policies, and the general direction the government is taking.
The governor plans to provide alternatives for any property owner with certificates of occupancy before the commencement of the exercise, but insists that any illegal structure in government land will be pulled down. And now the accusation made by former governors Shegoni and Ni Adebayo of the APC accusing the State Police Command and the government of arresting APC members and murder charges has elicited reactions from the government and the police. While APC berates the police and the government, the PDP-led government says the state security network is simply carrying out its statutory responsibility. Our correspondent Rashid tells us more.
Outbreak bats amongst opposing parties in politics is not a new thing. The recent arraignment of some members of the APC on murder charges in Ekiti State has triggered a series of reactions from the party's top echelon, leaving the political arena tense. Shegoni, a former governor and party chieftain, accused the Ekiti State Police of connivance with the Ayofayoshi-led government.
The Commissioner of Police should realize that Nigeria did not sign for continuity of impunity, which is still going on here. And I hope it will not lead us to a situation where people like us will come on the street with people one day to challenge the morality behind him. That would be an invitation to public chaos. The worst he can do then is to mow all of us down and kill us, and other people will take over from us.
The Ekiti State Police Command, however, denies this allegation.
The command does not have a political party, and we do not support any political party. We're here to follow the rule of law and to police the state as it is in the Constitution.
From the PDP-led government, the state is poised to rid Ekiti of security threat while lambasting the APC of accommodating criminality.
We are not conniving. We are in charge of security of the state. The responsibility of the governor is to ensure the security of lives and property. A few of the APC top-notch were in the political delirium, and they did what they wanted with impunity. The pay time has come. This was a purely political rehabilitation program for Engineer Shegoni.
Political pundits are of the view that the recent war of words is a prelude to what is expected politically in the coming months in the fountain of knowledge. Rashid, CoreTV News, Ado Ekiti.
Away from there now, President Muhammadu Buhari has approved the appointment of Professor Kamoru Olaiwola Usman as Provost of the Federal College of Education in Oyo. A statement by the Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Femi Adesina, say the appointment of the 51-year-old professor who hails from Oyo State is for an initial term of 4 years. Usman holds a bachelor's degree in science education, a master's degree in education mathematics, and a doctorate degree in education. Until his new appointment, he was Associate Dean of the Faculty of Education, University of Nigeria, Nsukka. And now, as the clock ticks on the deadline given to Delta States by the West African Examination Council, WAEC, the student body of Adiniro Ogunsoya College of Education has called on President Muhammadu Buhari not to release bailout funds to the 14 states. This formed the course of the media briefing addressed by Ojuare Wahid, the student union president of the institution. A correspondent Abiola Aluwale has the rest of the story.
The threat of the West African Examination Council to withhold results of candidates whose states hold a body has been raising dust across the length and breadth of the country. Reacting to the inability of some states to pay the registration fees of their candidates, the student union president of Adeniran Gunsoya College of Education, Ojuare Wahid, called on President Muhammadu Buhari to exclude the 14 states from the bailout fund of the federal government. Ojuare says the president should rather investigate states to ascertain reasons for their inability to fulfill their financial obligations to WAEC.
Those state governors that their cronies in power waste over 60 billion, sending their children to higher institutions abroad. This chunk of money should be diverted to Nigerian economy by standardizing our tertiary education.
On issues affecting the institution, the student union leader described the state of infrastructure as comatose and needing urgent intervention.
Most of the infrastructure in school are facilitated by TED Fund, ETF, and other agencies of government. No infrastructure whatsoever, as far as I'm concerned, been commissioned by the Lagos State government since 1999. This shows a clear neglect of the College of Education cadre. However, as recorded from the immediate past special advisor to the governor on education in Lagos State, he said over 6 billion naira are spent on infrastructure in Lasu. What do we witness in Akwa? Nothing.
The immediate chart, according to the students, is part of activities marking the 300 days of the student union government in the saddle. Abiola Oluwole, CoreTV News, Lagos.
You have been watching CoreTV Primetime News. We'll take another break now, be back with business, sport, and stories outside Nigeria. Stay with us.
Is it crazy or autocracy? Or what type of crazy is that? Except crazy.
News making the headlines.
Black Maria is to carry criminals, trade looters that are in government today.
Sometimes it gets confrontational.
Slap you in the face. They don't put words into my mouth. Whatever it is that will bring our military to disrepute, I said to hell.
On Core Digest,
I want to know why I should be believing them.
Every weekday, we bring all of these together and take them to the court of public opinion.
Everybody has a right in Nigeria.
Where you are the judge.
You can now watch CoreTV News live from anywhere in the world on our website www.coretvnews.com. Click on Live TV on our website and watch us live.
And welcome to CoreTV Primetime Days.
To follow us on Twitter, click on Twitter icon on our website. And Facebook, click on the Facebook and YouTube to see all our previous news production. You can also watch us live on YouTube. Click CoreTV, leave a space, then news. CoreTV News, a 24-hour news station.
Thank you for being there. Outside Nigeria now, 2 cranes have fallen onto a row of buildings in a western Dutch city, injuring at least 20 people, according to Dutch media, as the incident took place in Alphen-Aden region, where around 100 people live. The cranes were being used to restore a bridge in the city when they tipped over, and emergency services in Alphen-Aden region confirmed the accident. Dutch broadcaster disclosed that 20 people were injured, many of them seriously, and images from the scene show an enormous metal pillar which after it smashed onto building and people standing behind tape cordoning off the area. And now U.S. President Barack Obama has unveiled what he called the biggest, most important step the state has ever taken in tackling climate change. The aim of the revised Clean Power Plan is to cut greenhouse gas emissions from U.S. power stations by nearly a third within 15 years. The measures will place significant emphasis on wind and solar power and other renewable energy sources. However, opponents in the energy industry have vowed to fight the plan. They say Obama has declared a war on coal. Power plants fired by coal provide more than a third of the U.S. electricity supply. The revised plan aims to cut carbon emissions from the power sector by 32 by 2030 compared with 2005 levels. A Moroccan man suffocated to death in a suitcase after his brother tried to smuggle him into Spain in the boot of his car. A 27-year-old man was on board a ferry from Spain's North African enclave of Melilla to the mainland Spanish city of Almeria. The supervising brother, who has a French passport, has since been charged with involuntary manslaughter. In a related development on Sunday, 4 migrants died trying to swim to another Spanish enclave. The men from sub-Saharan Africa were attempting to swim around a fence from Morocco to the enclave of Ceuta. Kerry, now away from that now, U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry to meet Monday in Qatar with his counterparts from the Six-Nation Gulf Cooperation Council as he seeks to ease concerns about last month's international agreement on Iran's nuclear program. The talks with the foreign ministers from Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, Kuwait, Qatar, Oman, and the United Arab Emirates follow a summit President Barack Obama held with representatives of those nations in May. Some Gulf Cooperation Council members have raised concerns that sanctions relieved from Iran, a key part of the nuclear deal, could allow Iran to widen its influence and have a destabilizing effect on the region. Gulf officials have also raised concerns that Iran will use the new flow of money to increase its support to militant groups such as Hezbollah. Kerry is on a 5-nation tour of the Middle East and South Asia. Meanwhile, Obama said in May the U.S. would deepen security cooperation, including holding more joint exercises, speeding up weapons sales, and helping build a more coordinated missile system. And now to business. A Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development on Monday decried the recent ban of some of the country's food commodities from entering European Union member countries. Jatu Hare, Director of Agribusiness and Marketing Development Department, said the ministry had encouraged private investors in the sector, adding that they must not cut corners but to strive to meet the EU standards. Some of the food items banned from Europe till June 2016 are beans, sesame seed, melon seed, dry fish and meats, peanut chips and palm oil. The European Food Safety Authority held that the rejected beans were found to contain between 0.03 milligram per kilogram to 4.6 kilogram of dicovous pesticide. According to the Safety Authority of the EU, the acceptable maximum residue limit is 0.01 kilogram. O'Hare, however, noted that the state-of-the-art laboratory recently established by the Standard Organization of Nigeria will take care of that challenge, and the ministry will intensify education and enlightenment of farmers, investors, and other stakeholders on the need to follow the right process. The market indices of the Nigerian Stock Exchange on Monday rebounded by 0.22% after dropping for about 3 weeks. The market capitalization grew by 23 billion naira to close at 10.367 trillion naira against 10.344 trillion naira posted on Friday. Similarly, the oil share index rose by 67.56 points to close at 32,247.38 basis points achieved on Friday due to price appreciation by some blue chip equities. Guinness Nigeria led the Guinness table, increasing by 4 naira 92 kobo to close at 130 naira 2 kobo per share. Forte oil followed with a gain of 2 naira to close at 190, while Flamio gained 1 naira 43 kobo to close at 30 naira 43 kobo per share. Total topped the losers chart, declining by 3 naira to close at 160 naira per share. And in sports now.
Power style, that's what he delivered. Usain Bolt storming down
All right, Christian Benteke scored on his first Liverpool appearance since joining the club from Aston Villa for €32.5 million as the Belgian striker hit a sublime 20-year volley to put the Reds 1-0 ahead in a friendly away to Swindon Town. A Swindon responded through Jonathan Obika before Shea Ojo's late goal gave the Reds a 2-1 win ahead of the first Premier League match of the season away to Stoke City on 9 August. Liverpool also included another summer signing forward Roberto Firmino. The 23-year-old Brazil international started alongside Benteke, with both players substituted after 67 minutes. And now Frank Lampard made his long-awaited debut for New York City, but could not prevent the Major League Soccer side from slipping to a 3-2 home defeat by Montreal Impact. A calf injury prevented the Chelsea midfielder from making his bow 2 weeks ago, but he finally appeared when he came on in the 69th minute. Teammate and ex-Barcelona striker David Villa scored the New York opener. A New York-born winger Thomas McNamara grabbed the other goal for the club, whose majority owners are Manchester City. A Ghanaian forward Dominic Oduro gave Montreal the early lead before Argentine Ignacio Piatti doubled the advantage, and Villa reduced the deficit from the spot before Piatti scored his second and 7th of the season, also with a penalty in the 84th minute. McNamara scored New York's second moments later, but the host could not force an equalizer. And now Celtic are waiting news from Azerbaijan on the state of the pitch ahead of Wednesday's Champions League qualifier with Karabakh. Switching the feature is problematic since the nearby Baxel Arena is being used for Thursday's Europa League match between Kampala and Apollon Limassol. UEFA has said that Scotland are investigating the matter, and if Celtic prevail in Baku, they will reach the playoff round ahead of the group stage of the competition. Reports suggest areas of the playing surface at the Tawfik Baramov Stadium have suffered badly from heat damage. And on EA Entertainment now, Bachelor in Paradise Season 2 kicked off with a dramatic episode early in Sunday, August 2 outing. The contestant got to witness a surprise wedding of Marcus Groth and Leslie Fadul, who met on the first season of the show last year on the beach. A sweet moment aside, this season's contestants began to show who they really are. Gillian, from last season of The Bachelor, with Chris Soule's return with new boobs, Ashley brought her sister Lauren, and host Chris Harrison announced that they came as a package deal, meaning if one sister gets a rose, both sisters will stay. The episode ended on a cliffhanger as the show's Ashley is being taken to the hospital accompanied by Dan. And Australian entertainment, Impossible Rogue Nation rock this week. Boss with office with an estimated $56 million debut, and overseas a tentpole movie launched to $65 million in 40 territories for an early global total of $121 million. The Tom Cruise star had a record-breaking opening in South Korea with $17.1 million. It became the second best international opening of all time for Paramount after Transformers: Dark of the Moon. Warner's Executive Vice President of Domestic Distribution, Jeff Goldstein, stayed optimistic with the movie. Paul Rudd's Ant-Man was still in demand, securing the third place with approximately $12.6 million. After 3 weeks in the theater, the movie earned a domestic total of $132.1 million and a global haul of nearly $300 million. And now Ryan Reynolds is set to debut the official red band trailer for Deadpool and Conan, and the leading actor in the film will appear as a guest on the talk show on Tuesday, August 4, during which Ant-Man star Judy Greer and Catfish and the Bottlemen will also make appearance. The film's trailer was first screened at Comic-Con in San Diego on July the 11th, and the crowd at hall was so impressed, and they asked to play the trailer one more time. based on Marvel comic books. Deadpool tells the origin story of former Special Forces operative turned mercenaries, which was made Wilson, who after being subjected to a rogue experiment that leaves him with a celebrated healing power, adopt the alter ego Deadpool. Well, you've been watching the CoreTV Prime Time News. Just before we go tonight, a recap of our major headline. We told you that the federal government has now identified banks, financial institutions, and countries in which payments for stolen Nigerian crude oil have been deposited. An outpour of emotions by patients at the Federal Medical Center Idiaba, Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital, as doctors join their colleagues on an indefinite nationwide strike. And the federal government decries the poor rate of exclusive breastfeeding in the country as Nigeria joins the rest of the world to celebrate the 2015 World Breastfeeding Week. And finally tonight, 2 cranes have fallen onto a row of buildings in a dust city, injuring at least 20 people. And that's it on our primetime news tonight. Many thanks for watching. On behalf of the entire news crew, I am Frank Omalapeh. Have a wonderful night rest.